was about 13 years old, the first fan made by Dyson was released into the world, called the Dyson Air Multiplier, a bladeless air pusher that looked crazy futuristic for its time and super cool. These things popped up in stores everywhere, and every time I saw one, I got a little bit excited about owning one someday. Well, today, some 12 years later, is that day. I bought this Dyson Pure Cool Smart Fan for a whopping 650 Canadian dollars, or just over 500 US dollars for my American friends, and I'm gonna be comparing it to this $15 cheapo fan that I bought from Walmart that I was using previously. Now you might think that this is a bit of an unfair fight given that the Dyson fan costs about 43 times as much or something like that, but when I tested each of these fans using some scientific measuring tools, the results were not at all what I was expecting. First though, let's talk about what exactly you get for your $650 with this Dyson fan. The Dyson Pure Cool is a combination of two different products, a tower fan and an air purifier. The base of the fan is a cylinder that contains two glass HEPA filters and two activated carbon filters that are able to capture things like pollen, bacteria, ozone, and other harmful airborne things that you really don't want floating around your house. Whenever the filter detects the presence of something in the air, it'll notify you on the small LCD panel. Right now my air quality is good, but if I spray some deodorant nearby, it's like, oh no, there's bad stuff in your air. It'll filter out the chemicals and the air quality will go back to normal. Pretty basic air purifier stuff. The fan connects to the Dyson Link app where you can see your air quality over time and use the remote button to control the fan speed, oscillation, airflow direction, and timer. Of course, you can also use the small aluminum remote that comes with the fan if you don't want to keep taking out your phone every time. When controlling the fan, any button you press will be mirrored on the LCD panel, so you know exactly what you're doing. If you want to change the direction of airflow, for example, pressing that button will display a little bit of an animation showing exactly which direction the air is now moving in. You can also toggle through a selection of information windows that will display the different air quality types, temperature, humidity, and filter life. Then there's the fan itself. Now, this is the part that had me a little bit excited as a kid. There are no exposed blades here like on a traditional fan, and it makes the fan look a lot more modern. It's also a lot safer for small children or pets. But here's my number one question. Is this air multiplier design actually better than the traditional fan with exposed blades that we're all used to? To answer that question, I enlisted the help of two different scientific instruments, an anemometer and a sound meter. The anemometer measures the wind speed of air passing through a turbine. The turbine will spin and the anemometer will count the number of times the blades spin per second, and it'll convert that data into wind speed in miles or kilometers per hour. The sound meter is basically just a very sensitive microphone that will tell us exactly how loud each of these fans are at the various fan speeds. The best fans will naturally have the highest wind speeds from the anemometer and the lowest decibel rating from the sound meter. First up, the wind speed test. I put the anemometer on a tripod and measured the wind speed at maximum power of both fans at 3-foot and 6-foot distances. The Dyson hit wind speeds of 4.9 miles per hour at 3 feet and 3.1 miles per hour at 6 feet. I repeated the test at all power levels 1 through 10, and these are the results I got at both distances. Now, these numbers looked pretty okay to me, until I compared it to the Walmart fan. At maximum power, the $15 Walmart fan had wind speeds of 6.5 miles per hour at 3 feet and 5.1 at 6 feet, which means on average, this cheapo fan was between 25 and 40% faster than the $650 Dyson fan. I also repeated this test at half power for both fans and minimum power of both fans. The Dyson fan has 10 levels of power, whereas the cheap fan only has 3. As you might expect, the Dyson fan has a wider range of speeds, with its lowest setting hitting about 0.2 miles per hour at 6 feet away. The cheap fan's 3-level system isn't all that effective, with its lowest fan speed only about a mile per hour slower than its fastest speed. It basically just goes from fast to a little faster to fastest. Okay, so maybe the Dyson fan loses the wind speed test, but is it quieter? That could be another legitimate reason why someone would choose the Dyson fan. I set up both fans at about 3 feet away from the sound meter, and shockingly enough, the Dyson fan was significantly louder at almost every power level. At full power, the Dyson was hitting volumes of 56 decibels, while the Walmart fan was sitting at around 45 or 46 decibels. Now that might not seem like a huge jump until you realize how the decibel scale works. An increase of 10 decibels on the decibel scale means the sound is 10 times louder. That means that at full power, the Dyson fan is 10 times louder than the cheap fan. It kind of sounds like a drone taking off, actually. It turns out that all this air being forced through the tiny vents is not that great if you want to design a quiet fan. Thankfully, once you turn down the power on the Dyson, it will eventually get quite a bit quieter throughout the range until it defeats the cheap fan even at its lowest power setting. So look, The Dyson Fan definitely has the advantage in certain areas. It's got a built-in air purifier, tons of smart features, it can oscillate at up to 350 degrees, it's got way more power levels, it's safer for the little ones, and it looks a heck of a lot cooler than these cheap fans do. I mean, look at this thing, it looks like crap. But that doesn't change the fact that this $15 Walmart fan outperformed the Dyson in both wind speed and quietness. If you absolutely need both an air purifier and a tower fan, I suggest you buy them separately for the best value. There are some really good ones on Amazon that you can get for a lot cheaper, and I'll leave links to those in the description below if you're interested. So for me, I'm gonna have to put the Dyson fan back in the box and return it. I've got a relatively small office here, and I prefer to have a quieter fan that doesn't disturb me while I'm working. The Dyson is a cool looking fan, but the traditional Walmart fan is a better cooling fan. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe to support my channel, and as always, have a great day.